And yo, the Sports Bag Bros podcast is back at you. And today is Tuesday, not Monday. Typically, we come off of the weekend and we start up on Monday, giving you the sports that had just transpired and talk about some things that may be happening in the future. But we didn't do it yesterday, so we're doing it today. Nothing different. Thursday is still going to be Thursday. We'll do what we do on Thursday as well. For those of you who haven't heard us before, the Sports Bag Bros podcast comes on Mondays and Thursdays most times. This is the exception, one of the exceptions. Anyway, we're into the sports world. We're in the abyss of the sports season. No NBA, no NHL. It was no NHL for us all season any damn way. Yeah. Major League Baseball hasn't gone to its all-star game yet. The NFL is percolating. College football is having their media days coming up this month. Nothing going on, so we got to do it. What's good?
What's happening, man? Yeah, you reached out to me earlier. Was there anything I wanted to talk about? Nothing major, but I guess something I would like to address. Don't have to do it right at this moment, but like stupid management, dumb management. My coworker was talking about a video he saw, and he sent it to me. And the guy's well known. I can't remember his name, but yeah, he might be on Fox Sports. It's not Colin Cowherd, but it's another dude. He was talking about how the Bulls jacked up their dynasty. And I was like, yeah, that's the dumb. I call Mike Dunleavy Dumb Levy because the Warriors have needed a big man for several years now, and he keeps trading for guards. And I saw a report saying that the Bulls might be sending Kobe White to Golden State. Or people are saying, what about Damian Lillard to the Warriors? Let him rehab first. But do the Warriors need another shooting guard? They need a big man. But that makes sense. You know, Dumb Levy brings in guard after guard after guard.
Including Chris Paul.
Yeah. But Kerr ruined Jonathan Kuminga, so they're trying to get rid of him. And you see him play. He has so much athleticism. He can put the ball on the floor, finish at the rim. He can shoot a little bit. Why not develop him instead of getting rid of him? I don't understand. But anyway, the Bulls had a three-peat, their second three-peat in 8 years, and Jerry Krause, under no circumstances, was going to bring back Phil Jackson. And Jordan was on.
I never knew why. Why not?
Well, I'll get to that. And Jordan was on record as saying, if Phil Jackson's not the coach, I'm not playing. But here's what messes me up. Jerry Krause forced the White Sox to hire Tony La Russa, a prehistoric manager who fell asleep in the dugout, didn't know the rules, would lose games because of it. And yet, coming off of a three-peat, he didn't tell the GM, Jerry Krause, to kick rocks. Phil Jackson's our coach. You don't like it? You can leave town. No, he allowed Jerry Krause to break that dynasty up. So it doesn't make sense to me. But so what my coworker said is he heard, and I don't know the source, but you know how in The Last Dance they showed Mike and Pippen talking bad about Jerry Krause, making little snide comments here, a comment there. Well, supposedly Phil Jackson laughed at one of them, and Jerry Krause got heated. And from that moment, he's like, we will never coach the Bulls again after this season. And if you're going to be that petty, like, how do you even get to that position?
Personal? He made it personal when it's business?
Yeah. So, yeah, just there's so many dumb franchises. So look at the Bulls since then. He also said players don't win championships.
Oh, we heard
organizations win championships. That is almost a direct quote. If he didn't say organization, he said franchises. But you get my point.
Mm-hmm.
And so since he wanted to prove that point, we're going to let Phil go. Michael retires. Okay, we'll send Scotty over there. We'll let Rodman go, break it up, start from scratch. And here we are, 27 years later, and the Bulls still don't have another championship. They haven't made it to the finals. They had 1 year where they made it to the conference finals and got spanked by the Pistons.
Well, we won't have to worry about him anymore anyways, and we don't have to worry about franchises winning and players not winning. Players always win, regardless of what's going on with the franchise. It's like Milwaukee didn't win anything in 50 years. they needed players to win a championship, and they did it. It proves all the time. I don't even know why somebody who's looked at as that intelligent and supposedly a leader of men in terms of financials of being able to put a team together like that would say something so asinine, and that's what it is. Completely asinine. There's no reason to even say that when you have arguably, if not definitely, the greatest player to ever play the game on your team and probably the best team to ever play in the NBA, winning 2 sets of 3 championships. And you're talking about when those guys aren't together anymore, you're not winning any championships, but the franchise is still there.
Right. And they pretty much sell out every game. So, someone said at work the other day, fans should stop going to the game. Maybe management would do something. I'm like, time out. You forget Jerry Reinsdorf owns the White Sox too. And White Sox fans smart enough. We're not giving him.
They're not showing up.
He still don't care. He don't care. They're not bringing in talent. They don't develop young players. They set a record for losses last year.
Well, the Colorado Rockies are trying to break that joint.
Yeah, maybe, but that gives you the sense of what's going on. White Sox games aren't going. I don't want to go see that trash. I stopped going to White Sox games because I was having more fun in the parking lot than I was inside the stadium.
So you just pull up in the parking lot, damn the game, just do what you're doing outside.
I could tailgate at home and watch the game for free if I want. You know,
and that's the truth, man.
Why I got to drive to the stadium, deal with traffic, pay them highest prices for concessions and all that? I'm like, man, screw that. I ain't giving them my money.
Now, what's the difference between what they did to win a championship and the past several years not winning a championship, and then all of a sudden that huge futility last season having the worst record in Major League history?
You know, they tore it down like in 2015, I think. And they had some rough seasons, but they never set the record for losing. And after a couple of seasons, you know, they traded Chris Sale, they brought in some prospects. And even though they weren't winning, they had good young players who were fun to watch. Guys like Tim Anderson ended up leading the league in batting one season. Louis Robert looked like he'd be an MVP candidate. You know, Jose Abreu, very consistent.
So some damn good names coming through there.
Huh?
So some damn good names coming through there.
Right. And then they win the division. They go to the playoffs 2 seasons in a row. And then they fire their coach and bring in Tony La Russa. And Tony La Russa won a division the first year there, but after the All-Star break, they were a 500 team. And he lost several games. Like I mentioned before, he would doze off in the dugout. There were situations where he didn't know the rules. And I can understand they came out with the ghost runner in extra innings.
That's still ill to me.
But that's no excuse. You're the manager of a Major League Baseball team. You have
legendary
to know
manager.
The rules. Yeah, you have to know the rules. And so he cost them several games, even during that season when they won the division. So fast forward to the playoffs. They're playing the Astros, a fastball hitting team. Who does he start in game 1? A guy who throws nothing but fastballs, variations of fastballs. He throws a 4-seamer, he throws a cutter, he throws a 2-seamer, and he mixes in a slider. Yeah, he got smoked. I think he got knocked out the game in the 2nd inning. Okay, maybe you wouldn't have won game 1 anyway, but at least give your team a chance. You don't send the fastball pitcher out to face a fastball hitting team.
Oh, man, but that Tony La Russa, you just can't take anything away from him. You can look at that and say it was just senile. Being senile was the reason why he was doing that.
No business. He had no business
doing. Yeah, he should know the rules and all that other stuff. Even the new ghost running rule is still killing me. Now, after all of these umpire blown calls, at least according to the team and the fans of those teams, saying talking about AI or robots need to come in and start doing the umpiring because those strike zones are not looking. They're looking kind of crazy. I know the Mets had an issue the other day. Mendoza was kicked out of a game because of it. A bad call. I think and I'm not even a Mets fan like that. They're the JV, so I'm not against the Mets. They're just the JV compared to the Yankees. And those 2 pitches, though, were way on the outside. He called both of them. Man, and then Mendoza comes in, and I think the umpire touches him a little bit, and he gets thrown the hell out. I'm like, yo, damn, whatever happens to these umpires? Why nothing happens to these guys?
Yeah, I don't know. A lot of them, they'll make a questionable call, and then the players will react, and they'll take the home plate umpire will take the mask off, like he's looking for the smoke. Umpires should not be looking for smoke. They should be trying to de-escalate. Like, you want to say that louder?
Exactly.
You want to stay in this game? Get your ass out of here. You're not the man. Come on, that's not what baseball's about. Umpires sending guys to the showers because they question the call. Some umpires think,
oh God, these guys think somebody paid to watch
bigger
them.
than the game. I saw one video just a couple of days ago. I saw a video of a pitch a few days ago. You know how now they put the strike zone on the screen? This ball, I want to say, had a good 6 inches from the corner, the right-hand corner, and maybe 4 inches from the right side. And the catcher caught it right away, stood up, threw it down, and the pitcher started to walk around. And he actually froze in his stance when he heard ball. He looked back, he's like, you can't be serious. And the batter was actually walking towards the dugout. He came back. I don't know how the guys.
The dude thought he was out, and they called the ball. Somebody's on FanDuel, man. Somebody's on Hard Rock or something. They got to happen that joint, do a live baseball bet.
It was clearly a pitch. I mean, a strike. I could see borderline. It was on the line or close to the line, or the bottom corner. But this one, man, had all kind of the plate. What's up, Scott?
What's up?
Easy. What's up?
White Sox are bumming again, huh?
Oh, you already know, man. Well, good news is on the horizon. We got a new owner who'll be taking over, but supposedly it won't be the soonest he can take over is 2030.
God, man, that's a long time from now, man. I hate these deals like that.
Why are you getting to make a deal but hold on? What's the point of holding on? Just let it go. Let Ishpa take over.
Yeah, you get these guys, they're probably inherit all their money and they think they're good businessmen. Like the guy who owns the Pittsburgh Pirates. And they're just like, you know what? I don't care about baseball. I'm just going to make money. And so they zero out the salary, but they've got enough goodwill built up over the year that the fans will still come. And I guess they're not coming to Chicago, but I guess they are still going to Pittsburgh. And now there's, probably was Daryl Parker.
Dave Parker just passed away.
Nostalgia.
Yeah.
So the We Are family, We Are family. We're going to see our crappy team again now. So.
Yeah, but back in the day, they had a Game 7 in Pittsburgh, and it wasn't even sold out.
God, man.
That was Barry Bonds and Bobby Bonilla, I do believe.
Yeah. They talked about Bonilla's contract, getting an extra $1 million from the Mets after all these years. Bobby Bonilla comes in the
That was a hell of an outfield, man.
I wonder if that's the guy who owns them now, because he seems to be dedicated to sucking.
As long as there's revenue sharing.
I don't think so.
As long as there's revenue sharing,
I wouldn't think so.
Dedicated to sucking.
Normally they're competitive for quite a while.
Yeah, they're not anymore. I looked last 2 years just like this year and last year. They're in the bottom of the basement.
Get the bucket hat again, man.
There's no way Skeen gets a long-term deal there.
Oh, no. He's going to be gone. Hopefully the Yankees pick him up. I mean, seriously. Yeah. The Yankees need to get a cat like that, man.
Speaking of the Yankees, I keep seeing the Yankees.
What a mess.
Yankees lose 5 games in a row. Yankees lose. They just keep losing, but they're still in first place.
No, Toronto's in first place now.
Well, shucks. Maybe
Toronto took over just the other day when they swept the goddamn Yankees.
Okay, yeah, because I keep seeing on the news they keep losing.
Hold on, I have to make a comment because your name shows Scott the G. You can't go around saying "oh shucks" if that's gonna be your handle, buddy.
Yeah, G. I also mentioned before the G is not anything you may think it is. It may just be great old man.
G unit.
G.
Scott the freaking G. The G unit. Yeah, unit.
Yeah, talk to Trav. He gave me that moniker, and I'm sticking with it.
Scott the G.
When we doing the basketball talking, Baseball wise, man, we got the All-Star game coming up. No one's really buzzing about it. Alonso from the Mets is not going to join the home run derby. There aren't any really big names in the home run derby. I think after that year that Aaron Judge won the home run derby and then just sucked the rest of the season, he's done with the home run derby. He don't want to be bothered anymore with
the curse.
So I don't know what's going on with that.
The curse of the derby.
But the Kentucky Derby.
Is it a curse or is it that they change their swing and it affects them later on?
Oh, yeah, that's what I'm thinking. That's what happened with Aaron Judge, and people were assuming that's what happened with him. He just messed up his swing, and because the rest of the season kind of lent itself to that, he just looked pretty damn bad. He wasn't the same guy. He got his home runs. They still went out of the park, but he wasn't hitting as many, and then he strikes out a lot any damn way. The dude had 100 strikeouts already without even at the All-Star break. And this is supposed to be one of his better years, and it was.
Yeah, but
he was above 400 for a little while.
That's common nowadays.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. You go back to 1941 and see Joe D striking out 13 times in one freaking season. Aaron Judge does that in a series.
In a weekend.
In a weekend series, my man's like 13 strikeouts at least, man. Or West Coast swing. My man's getting 13 strikeouts. But his on base percentage, 47% on base percentage is sick.
That's what I was going to say. I mean, his batting average at least has been above 300 for a power hitter.
Over 400. It's like 360 something now. It's 360 something now. So he's had his slump and he's still at 360 something, but he's walking like crazy as well.
Hey, every little bit helps.
But those injuries, man, all those doggone injuries. So now, look.
That movie about baseball?
College football is coming up. I know you're talking nonsense about your sorry-ass Gators, but,
I didn't say a word.
Well, you're about to talk nonsense about them at some point because SEC Media Day is coming this month.
Yeah, we don't want to hear about Chris Leak or Tim Tebow.
Chris Leak and Tim
Andy
Tebow.
Warfel, none of those guys.
Hey, DJ Lagway, bro. He's the newest guy coming through.
He's
legit. You saw the talent last year when he first came in, but he just didn't have the supporting cast. But then as time went on, he started looking better. And I know I went to the Georgia-Florida game here, and, he was looking okay, but that was Georgia. Georgia was a better team defensively, so they gave him a looks that he hadn't seen before. But I'm expecting some things from the Gators this year. It's just that now, do you really get excited now? Like back in the day, we got excited when our team would have signed, whether it was the Miami Hurricanes or Florida Gators or even Nebraska. You sign a 5-star player, you'd like going through the roof. Now, you know that 5-star player, if he don't get the burn he's expected in that first season, he's probably gone. So you don't have that same exuberance about a 5-star player anymore. I mean, I see that now. I feel that.
In this day and age, just getting a commitment doesn't mean anything.
That's exactly.
Guys committing and recommitting, decommitting, recommitting.
That's why I don't do it. I'm not going to mess with my emotions like that. We get these transfers, 5 stars, 6 stars. I'm like, great. Let's see, when they on the first game, let's see if they're still there. Then I'll get excited.
Man, and now you've seen the way college football has definitely changed. I liked it better when there was some kind of mystique and you can just make up stories and try to hope they're true, or it was just fun thinking that it was true so you can tease someone about how their team just had the big briefcase. You hear the stories about Eric Dickerson and I think the $75,000 from whatever unnamed school supposedly had given it to him. He still goes to SMU because they probably gave more. And now we see with those dots and 280 ZXs back in the day. They got the death penalty.
Yeah, it's like what kind of car did Shaq get at LSU?
I heard Cadillac Williams when he had gotten to go to Auburn. I mean, you hear all these stories below the scene, behind the scenes. You go to SEC Media Days, you get people who really know what's going on, and they're not going to go public with it, and they tell you what's going on. But right now, it's all legitimate. Everything's out in the open right now. You get this kid, Felix Ojo, who signs with Texas Tech instead of Florida, instead of Texas. Texas is the flagship team in the state of Texas. And the reason why, this is what you're going to now hear from top prospects. He's a 5-star prospect. I think probably the number 1 offensive lineman. My man got a couple of years, 4-year, $5.1 million contract. That's what he has. That's what it is now. This is what we're saying about college kids, high school kids going into college. He picked Texas Tech. He has a $5.1 million deal. Unbelievable. This is what we're talking about with top players now. That's insane. We're talking about these are just pro players, man.
Who was Texas's quarterback last year? The guy in front of Arch Manning.
Arch Manning. What's his name?
Eilers or Ellers?
Forgettable.
Ewert?
Yeah, Heward. Yeah, Ewers. Quinn Ewers.
Quentin Ewers, that's right. Remember,
He had
that
the Ohio
guy,
State deal.
he went to I thought he was like Alabama first, and then he came out of high school early, and I guess he got
He
a
went to
bunch of
Ohio
money.
State. Supposedly getting $1 million out of Ohio State. But remember the story they said about Travis Hunter. He was supposedly had gotten $1 million to go to Jackson State. I don't even care with outside money. Jackson State is not giving anybody $1 million because if it did go to him, they would have stolen it anyway because we know how HBCUs get down. They take money. That's what they do.
Maybe
But
Deion
Ewers,
paid him out of his own pocket.
My point is, Ewers gets paid all this money. He's a big star in college football, and now in the pros, nobody wants him. Nobody even talks about him.
Well, you could see when he was playing, I knew that was the case. I hear people talk about how good his arm was, how strong his arm was. I watched a lot of games of his, and his arm wasn't strong that the way they were talking. But at the same time, these were the same kind of pundits because they've been around so damn long. They was telling us how strong an arm Chad Pennington had at Marshall. And he ends up throwing wiffle balls in the Meadowlands. That thing was floating around like a spring butterfly.
What do you
I think it's
expect?
crazy
The second coming of Joe Willie.
Oh, yeah, the Willie.
I think it's crazy to give a high school player a $5.1 million contract.
That's crazy, man. Sight unseen. You don't know what the hell he's going to do.
Make him prove himself for 1 year and then break him off with a bag.
And you know that's not going to.
I like Miami's quarterback, the kid from Georgia. He had that Ferrari. He had that Ferrari and
It got stolen. It got broken into.
It got stolen. He's like, I'm going to Miami now. And those people said, calm down.
And he cheats on his hot girlfriend the way he went down there for. The girlfriend that he was dating to go down to Miami, they claimed that she influenced him to go to Miami. He cheats on her, so she's gone. The Ferrari's gone. Now what?
I think her car got stolen too, by the way.
Well, she got stolen by some other guy. Well, I guess she can't be stolen if he's cheating and she's leaving. So I don't know. But this is what college football is now. And now, and you know it's going to trickle down. And they talk about his agent said so. His agent. He has an agent now in high school.
It's like Miami Vice or something.
Oh, my God. So he's 6'7", 300 some odd, probably was. I think 300 some odd pounds. Either way, 285 pounds, he'll be 300 some odd pounds sooner. It's like that Caden Proctor kid that came out of Iowa years ago, played for Alabama. Now he's a junior, man. I looked at it and said, he's a junior now? Damn, time just flew him by. He was the number one player in the state of Iowa, which doesn't say much. Robert Gallery, I think, came from Iowa as well. So, but anyway, this is what we're going to be seeing pretty often. And now when it trickles down to the high school, I don't think they'll ever pay high school players, but play the top players that know that they're going to have their money before they go to college or because they're going to college. I wonder how that's going to ruin it. I thought it would be much more in basketball because there are fewer players and more money to offer than it would be in football. But football still stands out when you talk about NIL and you're talking about players getting paid now.
Well, I guess the money mostly comes from the alumni, right? In college football,
I guess they call them collectives. It's not even the alumni; it's collectives because remember the alumni was supposedly had gotten together when they were trying to get Jaden Rashada to go to Florida. Now he's suing Florida. Because he claimed that they said they were going to give him, I believe, $12 million. And of course, they didn't deliver. He goes to Arizona State. It's a different story with him all the time. He goes to Miami because Miami is allegedly going to give him money. John Ruiz, the big business mogul down there, he kind of finances Miami's team or anyone who wants to come in. Then he goes from there. He goes to Florida because he's guaranteed this money, doesn't get it. Then he claims he's going to Arizona State because his father went to Arizona State. Now he's at Georgia. So this guy has 4 stops. He's at Georgia now, not officially in Miami anyway. But he's at 4 schools.
Miami stopping there.
No, he didn't stop. But 4 schools, though, that has been connected to him. He's in Georgia now. He's not going to see the light of day. The dude's a half-decent quarterback to begin with. He's not beating anybody out in Georgia, especially not Governor.
Yeah. Yeah, Georgia, just so much talent, man.
And now what? We're talking 2 weeks now, as time is flying the hell on by. 2 weeks now from now, 2.5 weeks from now, NFL camps are opening up. Here in Jacksonville, I think we got the buzz just because of Travis Hunter. And if you watch any of these videos that talk about Travis Hunter or they're showing him, they show about how he didn't break well in his routes and all that other stuff. And they try to throw shade on him to let you know that this is the reason why he's going to be a bust. But then they don't tell you about how he stayed after practice time and time again. And he ran that same route and runs those other routes. Not perfectly, but a whole lot differently than he ran them when he first started. The NFL is so intricate. You got to run these routes, perfectly. You can't do that in college, or you don't do it in college often. So he put a premium on learning how to run the patterns, and he's doing it now. All the routes that he has to know, the passing tree and all that other stuff. and he's looking better.
Why didn't Dion help teach him though?
Because
he had him for 3 seasons.
Dion wanted him to be more of a defensive back anyway, because it's supposed to have been another Dion.
I'm just saying, like.
And besides, what patterns? What routes did Dion run other than the out? Posting the out.
He would know about route running. He was a DB.
Yeah, but he's going to concentrate on how to stop those routes as a DB.
Yeah, but okay, so if he's watching them, you would think, oh, that's not going to get him open in the NFL. Come here, kid. Let me show you. You would think he had him 3 years.
Yeah, but I don't think Dion would look at him as an offensive player anyway.
Develop your players.
He was too worried about how his kid would get drafted.
I think he's more interested in how his kid would get drafted, and if what was working in college, because Travis was so much better than everybody else, and his son was able to get the ball to him, he was more interested in that. He had his son getting pounded, but as long as the ball was coming out 40 times in the game, he was all right. As long as those numbers looked right at the end of the day, they could lose by 30 points, but if he had 3 touchdowns in there and probably 300 going on 400 yards, as long as that stat line looked like that, he was okay with it. It seemed that's how it was, because there was times that they should have just, just put the backups in there and just get everybody rested up so they don't get injured. He left his son in there getting banged up, and that offensive line made sure he got banged up.
As a Jag fan,
here's the thing: did you hear what OCs are going to do to him on defense?
No.
Whoever he's covering is running a go route every play
to get him tired.
Kind of wear him out.
There you go.
Get the safeties out there. It's still going to affect him. Do that safety, shed some players. Yeah, they can rotate players that go over there, look like he's going to be going deep. Now let somebody else slip into that spot and have him blitzing because he has hella speed. I haven't seen it much.
I was going to say they probably shouldn't have communicated that, because now they're going to come up with a scheme.
Right. Right. So it might be a head fake. They're like, oh, we'll just.
Exactly.
He might line up on the slot and blitz the QB.
Yeah, but I think talent-wise, he's there. It's just like any other player, because we've seen it all the time. We've seen it even with Michael Irvin. When he came in, he wasn't a finished product, and he was a slower player who had to depend on great hands and route running, and he did. But it took some time before he finally started becoming the playmaker he has been known to be when he was at Miami.
I was going to say, man, don't discredit the playmaker.
Oh, no. Michael Irvin's a legend in Miami. You can't discredit him. People talk about his speed. Forget about the speed. The dude was the playmaker. Without the speed, he was still making the plays. And Troy Aikman,
Dion still had to interfere with him to keep him from catching that bomb.
Yeah, see Andre Rison with freaking Deion Sanders, man. And those two getting into it once they weren't teammates anymore. You saw that little fisticuffs thing they threw together when Atlanta played Dallas.
That's dumb to me, though. You're hitting the dude with a helmet. Come on, man.
Yeah, right. I mean,
who did that?
A couple of dudes.
Yeah,
NFL history.
I knew blows at Cleveland did it.
Myles Garrett.
Yeah.
And then use a BS excuse for why he did it. Man, cut it out. Everybody uses the same damn excuse when all else fails. Well, I got a few cards in my pocket. Let's use those. Get it the hell out of here. But, yep, the NFL finally coming around, man. And, man, is there really – I know I saw an article how Patrick Mahomes says he had spoken to Tom Brady and had gotten advice. Okay, what was the advice? All right. Yeah, he gave me some advice on what?
What, take less money so you can fill out a better roster?
Shoot, he actually took less money. He got less than market value of what he could have gotten that long-ass deal.
Mahomes,
yeah.
Really?
He got a lot less than he should have gotten. And he was talking about the reason why he had done it. He wanted them to be able to put a team around him. That's a lot of what Tom Brady had done. He was never the highest paid player in the league. He was always just taking enough so the team around him looks good. And he just was interested after a while of just winning championships. And he did just that. Goes to Tampa, does a lot of the same. Yeah, but Patrick Mahomes, now I wonder, is this the beginning of the end of him being the elite of the elite, or just becoming a notch down and still just being elite? I mean, because he was so far ahead of the curve to begin with. Now, after the last Super Bowl and the way Philly just shut him down like no one else has.
They've got issues.
And, they had the speed
they need
play.
to address that offensive line. But, people can say he had a down year. He didn't put up numbers like he did in the past. He still made it to the Super Bowl, man. Until Josh Allen beats him.
Well, you know what?
Lamar Jackson
that defense had a lot to do with it.
I don't care. Until Joe Burrow beats him, whoever. Until dude in Houston,
Lamar Jackson. Oh, Stroud.
Houston,
CJ.
not Baltimore.
CJ Stroud.
Stroud,
CJ
yeah. Until Stroud beats
CJ
him,
just
till
going into his
somebody
third
beats
season.
him. I'm just saying, till somebody beats him, you leave that man alone. I don't care what.
Leave that man alone.
I'm just
But,
saying,
man.
if he gets to another Super Bowl, shut the fuck up.
Oh, yeah, well, I think he's done enough anyway for anyone to say anything derogatory, but I do think they still have some liberty to say, okay, he's been in the league for so long. Is this the beginning of the end of him being the best of the best? And now he's kind of coming down to the pack. Doesn't mean that he's just mediocre. It still means that he's the best, but not of the best, because now you still have Josh Allen, and it still matters if Josh Allen beats him. He has to beat him, even though Buffalo may have the better team. Buffalo loses to Kansas City at home. On the road, it doesn't seem to matter. When something's on the line, it doesn't seem to matter. That's what they do. But with this team that Kansas City has now, I don't know, speed-wise, I mean, how much did they really lose when Tyreek Hill left and went to Miami? They lost that taking the top off the defense thing. But, you know, they bring in Xavier Worthy from Texas, the speed, but now the experience has to make a play to know how to, you know, find the soft spots and knowing when to break off your routes and all those things that come with experience at fast speed, which the NFL requires. And the running game now, that's a bigger problem because I thought my man was going to be the dude, man. Isaiah Pacheco. He's just,
yeah, me too.
I don't know, because of the injuries. Is he just a regular dude now?
I don't know.
Last year was his year.
He got injured. Still that was injured.
I love the way he run. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And you look at the entire backfield, all these Kareem Hunt is the other guy. I mean, really?
Yeah, they might want to get younger. But let me share this. My coworker said we forgot one guy on the forgotten running backs.
Yeah.
I don't know if I agree with it, but Ickey Woods.
You know, I was thinking about him, but I don't think he fit because he was one of those more of a trendy flash in the pan players.
That's what I said. I said, what was he good? 2 years?
Yeah.
And I remember him doing dancing more than anything else.
Yeah, the Ickey Woods.
I can't tell you how many yards he ran for, how many touchdowns he scored.
Exactly.
I just know he danced when he got in the end zone.
Yeah,
he danced when he got cold cuts.
Hell, the one guy we did, you know what? The guy that we had no cold cuts and spiking joints. But the one guy we did forget about who played on the same team with Ickey was James freaking Brooks. He's done it a long term. 180
on the same team?
James Brooks, yeah. Running back, he and Ickey
must have been at the end of Little Train James's career.
But James Brooks was still damn good, getting 1,000-yard seasons, averaging nearly 5 yards a pop, as little as he was, about 180 pounds.
I'll take Brooks over. I'll take Brooks over Woods.
Absolutely, I'll take him over Ickey Woods anytime. So that's a name because I thought about James Brooks after. I'm like, damn, we forgot James Brooks. And but Ickey Woods was someone I thought about, but I was like, nah. It was just such a flash in the pan.
Plus, I don't think the dance was all that cool. He could have came up with something better.
It was weak, but because it was in the infancy of real celebrations. I know Mark Gastineau started the sack dance with the New York Jets, and people kind of just getting into it. You know, Elmo Wright was the first one to make a spike, and it was lame, but it was a spike, and no one else was doing it. And now everybody else choreographed what the hell they're doing.
Who's Elmo?
Yeah, he played for the Kansas City Chiefs.
What about Billy White Shoes Johnson?
Billy White Shoes Johnson. I mean, if he celebrated it and no one really cared because they didn't talk about him, he's not synonymous with that. He's synonymous with his white shoes, and that's about it. But Ickey Woods, he came from UNLV. Okay, that was a big deal. Why was it a big deal? Because he also came from the same school as Randall Cunningham. Blah, you know, and Randall was a big name back then. So, but either way, yeah, James Brooks, I thought about him right afterward. You know, Johnny Johnson's another one of those running backs we could talk about that used to play for the Arizona Cardinals, the New York Jets. You know,
I don't remember him.
Johnny Johnson, he was a pretty good player. I mean, he was a pretty good player. He was that guy that they was trying to decide whether he was white or not. He didn't know if he was white or not. Was he white or was he biracial? Man, who gives a damn? The dude was a damn good serviceable back. He was getting his yards and he could catch out of the backfield. I mean, I was going to think about Adrian Morrell, but I was like, I'm only thinking about him because he's a New York Jet. So Adrian Morrell was not that guy. Brad Baxter.
Curtis Martin underrated?
Oh, I still think Curtis Martin's underrated because even when he was playing, I was still hoping we had another back. Wishing we had another back while he was playing.
Was he forgotten?
Dude was good.
I think he's forgotten only because he wasn't that. He didn't have a personality. I mean, when he played with the Jets or when he played with the Patriots, he followed Bill Parcells to the Jets. I remember him in college when he was unassuming then. He just wasn't, you know, sometimes you have to be that personality unless you're extremely special like Barry Sanders. His personality was not having a personality, and it was endearing. You know, people loved it.
Didn't Chris Berman make him a character? He used to call him My Favorite Martian.
Oh, yeah, that's what he called. Yeah, but he called My Favorite Martian, of course. But it's just that the name might have stuck for the moment, but once it was over, no one really cared. I mean, Curtis Martin, just unassuming, he did a lot of the right things off the field. You know, he didn't get in any trouble off the field, and everywhere he's been. And I remember when he was at Pittsburgh, he was good. I still thought Swerving Richardson was the name there. Then Billy West would have been even better until his injury. But he came along and he was obviously something special. They talked about his 4.4 speed. I've always questioned that. But then he always had that knee brace on, kind of like Thurman Thomas. So you never really knew exactly if they ran a 4.4. But when they got on the football field, so the hell what? They still got their yards. And I don't know how to get it.
Speed.
Yeah, well, not even in the game, but you never really saw that speed too much. So I think he just had eyes for the field. He made the right move at the right time. And I remember when Leon Washington got to the Jets, you know, and I talked to Leon about Curtis Martin. He was like, you know, he's never going to bad talk a guy that's a senior. But he was like, yeah, man, he's like one of the best players I've ever seen. Well, I don't think Florida State had too many of those guys like Curtis Martin is. But yeah, he was like the best guy I've ever seen, telling you how great a guy he is. And apparently that seems to be the sentiment everyone shared about Curtis Martin. But yeah, I mean, if you want to throw some old school running backs with Bo Jackson, he's not forgotten. But what could have been is probably overrated as hell.
Overrated?
Yeah, I think it might have been overrated because guess what? Because of his style of running, he probably would have gotten injured somewhere down the line anyway, if not sooner than later.
More of a bruiser?
Probably. More of a bruiser. Well, he was a bruiser only because, you know, he was looking for contact because you couldn't catch him. So,
like Leonard Fournette.
Leonard Fournette.
But what's the flip side of Leonard Fournette? It's the Yulee bulldozer, Derrick Henry.
Derrick Henry. I don't know if that's
he's that conditioning beast. I don't know.
I was just up in Hilliard yesterday, and they got his freaking jersey up there, you know, because Hilliard's right next to Yulee, and they had I ate at this place, and they had his jersey hanging on the wall there. You know, we've done things for Derrick Henry in the past. You know, a friend of mine and myself, we gave toys away for him one year. You know, at Winn-Dixie, $25,000, man. He gave not Winn-Dixie, Walmart and Yulee, that one Walmart and Yulee, and we gave toys away, man.
That's it.
It was cool, man. It was
probably
cool.
Their only grocery store, too.
You know, it probably is. But Yulee's growing quickly, man.
I
got a few treks I'm going to take this season when football comes up in high school. Hilliard is one of them. Bradford County, of course, is another one. And then the usual dipping and dodging, figure things out. But yeah. You know, I was thinking about when we do a wide receiver show. There's a boatload of wide receivers.
Let's do it now.
These four wide receiver sets. You know, we're talking the traditional pro set with two wide receivers becoming more players. Now they're talking the run and shoot, and then just the regular spread and all that other man. Just no backs in the backfield. Shoot, man.
Let's do it now, right quick.
All right, shoot. Yeah, for a brief minute of time. Let me see. Yeah, we can do it for like another 15 minutes. I mean, wide receiver. Well,
go ahead.
Look, a guy I've always liked, Ricky Prohl. He's made plays in the Super Bowl as well. I thought he would be. In fact, I named him as a player who would be an impactful player for the Rams that year, and he was. But then the Patriots came back and won the freaking game.
Ricky Prohl was all right.
I liked him, man. We was in Arizona too. I liked him.
At the top, I got to go with Jerry Rice, longevity and everything.
Oh, no. We're talking underrated.
Underrated. Forgotten player.
Oh,
yeah.
Everybody knows Jerry Rice.
Randy Moss is underrated.
Randy Moss is underrated?
No, I'm just saying.
Picking on his
Jerry Rice. Oh, yeah, I'm picking Jerry Rice. Yeah, I'm picking Randy Moss. No one knows who the hell he is.
Underrated. How about Lavernius Cole?
You know what? That's a real possibility because he was at his best with the Jets or even with Washington.
I was going to say, I knew I had a chance with him since he played for the Jets.
Yeah, but I mean, he was one of the most people anticipated him more than any player in the draft that year. So,
he wasn't, in college, he was. I think Peter Warrick was probably the best receiver.
Yeah, easily. But he got into that trouble. Remember the Dillard's deal? Deal.
That's right. They kicked Coles out.
That's what got him kicked off the team. That's why he was the first one.
Like we're gonna win. We're getting rid of Coles.
Laveranues Coles was the first one in NFL history when they give their names on the TV. He was the first one to mention his high school.
Right.
Rebo Senior High School. And everybody, why are you mentioning your high school? In case he had beef with Florida State. That's why.
Rebo all day, twice on Sunday.
Man, I had somebody. Oh, Cliff Branch.
Man, that's a name from a while back. I mean, not a way back, but a name that you really don't think about.
Way back, but that dude was fast. He was a problem for the Raiders, man.
Oh yeah. I mean, the Raiders always, first of all, get speed. You know, you can say Willie Gault. You know, he played with the Bears. But I'm saying as far as speed goes, guys who had world-class speed, Ronaldo Nehemiah playing for the 49ers, same thing. But yeah, Calvin Branch, just forgot all about him.
Cliff.
I mean, I'm doing Calvin. You know what? I'm thinking about Calvin Jones. Why am I thinking Calvin Branch? For Nebraska, because I was about to make a Nebraska
running back.
Yeah, running back. Calvin Jones, like, damn, the name just floated around. Scott, do you have anybody?
I gave you mine.
Randy Moss?
Laveranues.
Oh, Laveranues Coles. Yeah, I mean, you just don't get one shot. Well, you got to keep going with other players.
I know. I'm thinking this is bias category.
We're going one at a time. It's your turn now.
Mine?
Yeah.
Oh, shoot.
Yeah.
You started.
He went another home team guy, because he was not just a New York Jet, but in the NFL, he got a lot of accolades because he was unassuming, but he was reliable as hell. Wayne Corbett caught everything. One of the few players that didn't use gloves, and he was just catching everything. He led the league in like first down receptions. So and he got a lot of acclaim for that. And if the Jets were actually pretty solid after a while because you know he was a part of that 1-15 team with Keyshawn Johnson. Keyshawn was jealous of this dude at the number 1 pick overall, and they got rid of him and didn't get rid of freaking Wayne Corbett. So yeah, Wayne Corbett is my dude.
I'll be interested to see if you agree with this one, Trav. Jimmy Smith.
Oh yeah, easily, and not just being here in Jacksonville. Remember, he played with Dallas before he came to Jacksonville. His off the field
was
things.
Was good in Dallas though?
Yeah. Oh, he didn't do it. He got a ring there, but he wasn't
on the roster.
Yeah, he was on the roster. You know, kind of like the Stacey King.
But Keenan McCardle.
I keep going with Stacey King, boy.
Stacey King contributed, man. That's
all people talked about was Keenan McCardle when he was here. So I think he was a little underrated during that time.
Smith was doing better than Keenan McCardle.
I know.
Smith was the one who had the yards.
I know.
And his off the field nonsense is the reason why he won't go to the Hall of Fame. Not because of them looking down on his nonsense. It's just that it prevented him from doing even more. His suspensions, the other stuff. I dealt with Jimmy in the past, man. And, just speaking to him, not act like we boys or anything like that. Just doing the job, and he had demons on him, man. And he knew it. He admitted it. And I can't even imagine having some type of an addiction like that to where you have no say in the matter. This thing just overcomes you. And it does. Sucks.
So you said Cowboys, so I'm going to go with Elvin Harper.
Oh, bro, that might be the damn gem of the list. Forgot all about this dude, and this dude was a hell of a contributor.
Yeah,
he was the reason why
the playmaker.
As good as he did.
He made plays himself.
Big time plays. And he had that end around play on Tecmo Bowl. So, yeah, man. I forgot Elvin Harper. Yo, bro. He went to Tampa, and then kind of things fell apart like they do with anyone who goes to Tampa. But yeah, Elvin Harper. Right now, that's probably the number 1 dude on the list right now of dudes who have been forgotten.
I don't know. I'll take Cliff Branch over Elvin Harper.
Over Elvin Harper?
Yes, sir.
Whew. Elvin Harper was dynamic as hell, man. Even though it was
but he had help. They had Emmett, Novacek, Irvin, Cliff Branch. Who was on the other side of Cliff Branch?
The other team. That was the other side of him. But damn, I mean, that's one of the players that had to be accounted for. But then when he went to Tampa, you kind of saw what he couldn't do without the big dudes. So that's legit there with Elvin Harper. So, Scott.
No, it's your turn.
My turn?
Yeah.
Your turn.
Go ahead, Scott. Go ahead.
Jordy Nelson?
Who?
Jordy Nelson.
Oh, Jordy Nelson.
Played for Green Bay for a while.
Jordy Nelson. Yeah, bro. Good player.
Oakland for 1 year.
Yeah, he was damn good playing with him.
Is he not active anymore?
No. 2018 was last year.
He had that knee injury, man. He wasn't the same, but he was
Aaron
Rodgers' number 1 dude.
I'm going to say Puka Nacua.
I don't know, right? Shoot, just in his second year going in his third year. Yeah, I think Puka has a hell of a career in front of him, man. I would have never thunk that he would have become the player he had become, especially even in his first year. But after the injury, he kind of tried to pick up where he left off, man. So he showed this is legit. This is no flash in the pan talent.
Yeah, he came out of nowhere and
nowhere, man. I didn't see it at all. I didn't see it. I heard his name before when he was playing in college ball, but I don't know, man. Just one of these guys that didn't stand out, even when he did stand out. And it was kind of like Michael Strahan playing for Texas Southern. I watched him in person, and I didn't see anything special on the field. And no one really knew his name at the time. I watched him in college. He played against Alabama State, and he
probably couldn't say it.
Yeah, he played against Alabama State from Texas Southern. And
no,
in fact, that
probably couldn't pronounce his name.
Who, Michael Strahan?
No, Puka.
Oh, Puka Nacua. Oh, yeah. But you know what? But seeing his name, though, because I know some people will look at his name and think he's not supposed to be a good wide receiver. Come on, man. Get out of here with that. He was just making plays, and he was one of those guys making plays. Well, man, but Michael Strahan, going back to that, I just didn't see anything when the Giants took the number 2 pick, the second round pick. I was like, what the hell? Well, I guess they knew what the hell they were doing. But he didn't do anything in those games. They actually
can't say Michael Strahan. We're talking about wide receivers.
Oh no, because I was making the comparison of Michael Strahan. It was a player I watched and didn't see do anything. Like I watched Puka, even though he put numbers up, it didn't look like it stood out. And if it did stand out, you said, well, it's just BYU.
So who's your guy?
Mine, oh God. See, I gotta stay out of Jets world too. Ed McCaffrey. Played with the Giants first, then he did his thing with Denver.
Right.
Yeah, he was
Christian McCaffrey's father. Bro, he really killed it with Denver. He and Rod Smith killed it with Denver. I mean, he was a legitimate game-breaking wide receiver. He started with the Giants coming out of Stanford. I remember they picked him, and he just couldn't get his footing there. But when he made that move to Denver, he had John Elway throwing that damn rock to him, and he was doing it before there was really an established running game, but it didn't hurt to have that running game between Clinton Portis and Terrell Davis coming through, and anybody else who decided to get behind that zone blocking line that got 1,000 yards, Mike Anderson and all those others. So
you got anybody, Scott?
I don't want to say it.
Click.
Why not?
He's a Knoll. He's a Knoll. Anquan Bolden.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. I think
a lot of guys get credit for good hands.
That guy's hands.
Anquan has some good, strong hands, man.
He was so talented. Because remember in that game when he played quarterback? He played quarterback. I mean, he played quarterback in high school anyways, but that's a far cry even on Division I level. That dude played quarterback and was able to sling that rock like 50, 60 yards like effortlessly. And then he was just a hell of an athlete. Never had that blazing speed, but that body control, that big body and catching that ball. He and Larry Fitzgerald, when it came to pure hands, those guys are probably up there among the best. And Larry Fitzgerald's son is going to Notre Dame, I think, now, right? He just decided to go to Notre Dame. We'll find out.
It's where Chris Collinsworth's son went too.
Who?
Trader.
Mike Quick.
Chris Collinsworth's son went to Notre Dame.
Yeah, Mike Quick. I had his football card growing up. Yeah, so yeah, Mike Quick is another one of those players. You see? Look at your Brock Lesnar bully. The hell is up with this guy?
Was it troll? I didn't log in today, so I don't see the comments.
Oh, really? Yeah, but anyway, yeah. Damn, Mike Quick, man. Like I said, I had his football card, man.
Harold Carmichael.
Jacksonville.
Carmichael, another Philadelphia Eagle. Went to Raines High School. He and Brian Dawkins both went to Raines High School here in Jacksonville. He was in the Black College Football Hall of Fame. I actually interviewed him and have an interview with him. With Harold Carmichael, obviously good dude, all that. He talks about his knees and all that stuff with that veteran stadium turf. And and then he goes into the football, the NFL Hall of Fame. So, and that was the same guy caught up with him.
When he retired, he had the most catches of all time of any NFL player.
Who, Harold Carmichael?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I did not know that.
Neither did I.
Yeah, but then what's his name? Who was the guy from Oklahoma who played for the white guy? Largent? Was it Largent?
Steve Largent. He played for Oklahoma?
I don't know. Well, I'm just saying I know Carmichael doesn't hold it anymore, but he did for a while.
Oh, okay. I know who I can't remember where Steve Largent played. I was going to say Annapolis, but that was Phil McConkey.
Steve Largent would be a good name to drop.
And that sucks because the dude's in the Hall of Fame and people forgot about him because he ran a 4.7. But he ran the best routes of all time. That's why he was always open when all these 4.3 guys was trying to keep up with him. Oh man, like he's going to go downfield, blazing with his 4.7 speed, and then he just stops and just turns around and catches it. And you just go right past.
And it's not often the wide receiver gets some get back on the DB.
Oh yeah, I remember that hit, bro. he might have done it a few times, but the crackback when it was legit. Well, it's been up legit up until recently, anyways. But yeah, man, he's another one of those unassuming players. You rarely saw him celebrate. None of that. It's like, just act like you've been there, and he had been there.
He'd be like the John Stockton of the NFL.
You know what? That's probably true. And Iron Man.
I got a good one. Steve Smith Sr.
I
thought about him, but he's on TV.
Yeah, no one's forgotten about him. And he says a lot of things.
Yeah,
he's polarizing.
He's not forgotten.
He cheated with my man's wife.
But
I didn't know he's an eighth all-time leading receiver in the NFL.
Oh, he was a badass.
Yo, there's no question
for a
about
little
that.
guy, relatively speaking, for the NFL. That's a strong dude.
It went to Utah State, and they primarily used him. Well, not primarily. He ran kickoffs back, punts back, but he was a receiver. But to think about he and Chad Ochocinco on the same junior college football team, just imagine that, man. They were both there. But he always played with that chip on his shoulder, man. And, as I know, my friend Steve, who used to be the VP with the Carolina Panthers, he tells you how serious a guy he was, man. He didn't play games. I mean, he would hit his teammates, man, and didn't care about their jaws. This guy didn't care.
Steve Smith?
Yeah, he just didn't play games. He takes everything serious.
And he's not a big guy.
No, 5'10", 190 is pretty damn stocky for a regular dude on the street trying to rush, mess with.
Was he there when Caruth was there?
Who?
Caruth.
Oh, no, he wasn't there when Ray Caruth was there.
Oh, okay.
But I remember when he came out of college.
He kept his ass in line and prevented all that.
As blazing fast as Ray Caruth was coming out of college, it was him and Calvin. It was after Calvin Johnson and Michael Westbrook left, Caruth came along. But he had that blazing speed, but then that dude became the biggest scumbag of all time. God. And he's out of prison now, isn't he?
I think so.
Yeah. He got out not too long ago. Shoot. Man. He was a damn good player, man. But a worse person that will never make up for whatever the hell he did in the football field.
Who was that, Lawrence Phillips?
Nah, not Lawrence Phillips. Ray Caruth. That son of a gun.
Yeah, Phillips is gone now. He is no longer on this.
How about John Taylor?
But hold on. Phillips didn't do nothing as bad, close to as bad as what Caruth did.
No, Caruth is just.
It's not the same conversation.
Caruth needs the death penalty for what he did.
I don't know what he did.
He shot his girlfriend when she was pregnant.
Oh, okay.
And the baby right now is suffering.
Yeah.
Well, not a baby anymore, but come on, you ruined her freaking life.
Grew up disabled.
Yeah.
Lawrence Phillips, I'm not saying it's the same thing, but he drove into like a whole crowd of people.
A bunch of kids.
Yeah, I think he might have.
Go watch the story, man. Go watch the story. Then give us a report on that, man.
I'm just saying.
Yeah,
I'm just saying. He ran all over.
Were you there? Did you see
his girlfriend with a mailbox?
Were you there?
I watched that story a handful of times already, man, because that's so damn intriguing. Looking at him coming up from the high school ranks and just listening to his story from the back. Like, God, man, he lost before he could even start. He had the physical gifts of a freaking god, but he had too much trauma from the past that you just couldn't get, you just couldn't leave it alone. He just couldn't. And that happens to a lot of people. It just happens to be. He had a camera on him where a lot of other people don't. Now you got everybody's camera on you. So if something like that is going on, I mean, they'll just harass you and tease you about it and make you want to kill yourself.
Is it like a DMX kind of thing?
These inner demons, man, whether the drugs is the reason why, but his wasn't drug induced. It was because of his circumstances growing up.
Yeah.
The
DMX,
things he saw.
Yeah, DMX's mother used to beat the crap out of him. Yeah, he had.
That's normal in the hood, man. Your mom beat the hell out of you. The hell out of here, man. You know, hood, man. Your mom,
when he got big enough to fight back against his mother, she would wait till he was asleep and then beat the crap out of him.
She jumped.
He would have these asthma attacks, and she would just leave him at the hospital.
Crazy, man. I need to look at a DMX story. Where did
But
you hear that
DMX
from?
would tell you. I read his book. He was a bad kid.
Oh yeah, man. They're bad. Come on, there's bad kids every damn where, man.
He used to
But
rob so
your
many
mom assisting
people.
you in being bad.
He used to rob so many people. Then one day he got robbed, and he was chasing the dude that robbed him, and he ended up getting jumped. They beat the shit out of him.
Sounds like he deserved it.
He did deserve it.
I know, right, bro? Yeah.
He's like, no, man, he stole my coat. They didn't care. Crack.
I guess depending on when you grew up and how you grew up, I think that everybody kind of knows a stick-up dude or 2 or 3 or 10. So yeah, man, yeah.
He's trying to be Omar without the shotgun.
Well, Omar, you must got me there.
You don't know Omar from The Wire?
I haven't seen one episode of The Wire.
Come on.
Not one.
You got to end the show on Nuck.
Isn't that Idris?
Bro, I watched The Sopranos, and that was just about it for HBO.
Not one episode. You
Not
don't
one
know
episode,
Omar?
man. I wouldn't even be able to name a
Everybody knows Omar.
I heard the name before, but I can't even tell you what it's attributed to in the movie or the show.
Man.
Wasn't that Idris Elba who played him?
No, he played Stringer Bell.
Oh, okay.
He died. The guy who played Omar passed away a couple years ago.
Oh, he had like the scar sort of on his face or something?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know you're talking.
Damn.
Yep.
So I guess that must be a new assignment. Now I'm gonna have to find the doggone season.
Yeah, you gotta go do some homework, man. End the show. End the
Doing
show.
homework.
You never seen The
I gotta
Wire.
do some damn homework. I guess I gotta do some homework with The Wire.
I can understand if you didn't watch every episode.
Not one episode.
You gotta know
man.
who Omar is, man.
I heard the name, man, but I don't know what to attribute it as or nothing.
Omar Marino, is that who you heard? You heard the name.
Omar
When I
Epps. I
started
don't know the
watching it-
programmer. I don't know what the hell.
When I started watching it, I thought it might be like a documentary or something. I was like,
What, The Wire?
This is different.
Yeah, it's based off true characters in Baltimore.
Right.
See, now I'm
Yeah, it
gonna
was a
check it out.
reporter who lived
I'll
there.
find out. I'll get the
Yeah.
whole series though. How long did it last? I knew it lasted for a minute because I know
I wanna say
I've
it
heard
was
people
like-
saying this is the best since The
It
Sopranos.
was like 5 or 6 seasons at least.
I'd
I
say,
know
yeah,
I
I
stacked
guess
it.
5.
Yeah, I did watch all the Soprano joints because even when that was going on, I wasn't watching. I used to hear them talk about it so much in New York, and I was like, okay, it might be good. I watched it when I came down here, and it was as good as advertised, if not better. So
Yeah.
this might be another one of those deals.
This is in Baltimore. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna remain quiet for the remainder of the show. I'm boycotting because you never seen The Wire.
Like how Cosell, during the text during the text comment Larry Holmes fight, he just protested about just staying quiet for the whole freaking round. Like, this is the beating that should be stopped. He just shut up. I ain't gonna say a damn thing. Oh damn, but yeah, we'll get on top of that anyway. What are you drinking? Don't say it's
Diet Coke, baby.
Slow down. You're gonna have to go pee.
I know. It's building up.
You better get a diaper. It's about that age.
Dude, I need a milk jug, man. That's what I need. Make it through these shows.
So anyway, well, hell, it's about that time anyway. We put those wide receivers to sleep, at least a few of them. But I even thinking just coming off the top of our head, which we did anyways with the running backs as well, along with the quarterbacks. Anyways, this Thursday we'll be coming back definitely. The Sports Back Bros podcast, maybe including Scott the G showing up, depending on how he's feeling, which is never guaranteed. He's biased. I'm
Never
Trav.
know.
That's Scott the G, and the Sports Back Bros podcast will come back at you on Thursday. But until then, a lot's going on. Deuces.
Adios.